Whose fault?
Well, it might be winter here in Melbourne, but it's summer back in the US, and that usually means a little bit of a break for most people in the US, especially in basketball. And we've been very, very fortunate enough, with thanks to Aussie Basketball Travellers, who've brought out one of the greatest all-time NCAA coaches. Lute Olson is in Australia. Thanks for joining us on Big V TV.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you out here yet again. You've been here a few times. It has been an unbelievable basketball journey for yourself, yet just seeing you here today with some kids here in Melbourne, it looks like you enjoy coaching now just as much as ever before.
Yeah, I do. I've been retired now for 5 years, but when people ask me, do you miss the coaching? Well, I miss the practices, but I don't miss the recruiting and being on the sideline at games. The practices are when you really get to know the young people the best, and you can have the most effect, I think, on them in that situation. So I do miss coaching. But I don't miss the other things around it.
Here's one guy sitting to your right that's he needs a little bit of coaching.
A little bit. I think he needs some work. But look, you know, you're in the job for 25 years, which is
that's just a Arizona. That's right, and that's just at one college. Look, that's a long time to be in one job. They say you're supposed to be in one job for 4 years and then look somewhere else, but whoever they are. But look, you know, how do you keep getting up every morning in a job that you're in for 25 years and have that same drive to improve your players and keep putting on a good show every single week?
Well, just in terms of my background, I coached 13 years of high school basketball.
Before 25.
Iowa, and 9 years?
No, in high school. And then I was in junior college for 4 years.
There we go.
So it was 17 years before the 18th year I went to Division I. And I started at Long Beach State in California. And then I went to Iowa for 9 years in the Big Ten. And like you mentioned, the 25 years at Arizona. And the great thing is the last 5 years at Iowa, we were in the NCAA playoffs. And then the first year at Arizona, we didn't make the NCAA playoffs, but we started a string of 26 consecutive years in the NCAA. So in essence, it was 31 years out of 32.
That's amazing.
That we were in the.
And I don't know whether people here in Australia have a complete understanding of just how big the NCAA tournament is. I mean, it is a monster.
It's referred to as March Madness. And
appropriate name. An appropriate name.
And the thing about it that's different from the professional round is that it's one and done. If you may be the 13 seeded team, and you'll play the 4th seeded team, and if you lose that first game, you're
gone.
You're gone. It's one and done.
Enjoy your trip home. You asked Luke before what helped him to get up every day. Let me run some names by you. Steve Kerr, Mike Bibby, Jason Terry, Gilbert Arenas, Andre Iguodala, Richard Jefferson, Luke Walton, Channing Frye, just to name a few. What was it like to work with those players? I mean, we're talking about some exceptional talent there.
Well, the great thing in our situation, we always felt that if you recruit good people, they're going to be find a way to be successful. And if you recruit bad people, they'll find a way to mess your program up. So we operated with that in mind, and I can actually honestly say that I never felt like there was a day that I had to go to work because I just enjoyed doing what I was doing. So in terms of getting up every morning and doing the coaching or whatever, when I was in the high school level, I got my master's degree in guidance and counseling.
You need a bit of that when you coach, by the way, just a little bit.
Educational psychology, and there were a lot of times that I used all of that, but I was still looking for other things. But I love my work, and I think to any young person, the important thing is not how much money you're making. It's enjoying what you're doing.
Very good point.
My first job, believe it or not, in high school, I made $3,200 that first year, and I taught 6 classes, and I coached. I was the head basketball coach, the head baseball coach, assistant football coach, and yet it was. I mean, I love everything that I was doing.
Now, Cal and I are very well known for being in sync with each other. So I reckon when I read out those names then about some of the players that you've coached, I think Cal might have been thinking about one question. I reckon you might have been asked one particular question 1,000,000 times before.
I'm going to ask it again.
Let's see if we get it now.
I reckon I've got it.
Okay.
Who was the favourite player you coached? Am I right on?
No, you're spot on.
Well, that would be very hard to say. The best player I think I ever coached, best all-around player, was probably Sean Elliott. But maybe the most interesting one was Steve Kerr came to us because we were the only school that offered him a scholarship. And he ended up playing in the NBA for 15 years. 5 championship rings. And this is a guy that no one wanted.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, they expected him to.
Well, he's a bit unassuming, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But you look at someone like Andre Iguodala, okay, who's just signed, I think, about a $40 million contract or thereabouts. Does Andre get on the phone to you and says, "Hey, coach, thanks for all that work you did with me. It's paid off"?
No, because the contract before was with Philadelphia for $82 million.
Yeah, that was pretty big. Wasn't it? So did you get a phone call then?
No, but I have to tell you this, Damon Stoudemire was one of our great guards. He's now back coaching at the University of Arizona this year. But Damon was playing with the Portland Trailblazers, and they were playing the Phoenix Suns, and he called and he said, could I come down and watch a practice? Because he said, I want to see what a real practice is like. So he watched our practice, and my wife and I took him out to dinner, and he had signed an $82 million contract. He had been Rookie of the Year and all of that. So we ate at our favorite Italian restaurant in Tucson, and so the bill came, and so I reached for my wallet.
Here we go. Did he do the right thing?
And Damon said, Coach, I pay for this, but I left my wallet. I left my wallet and
give me a break.
The car. $82 million contract. You know, the least I thought I would expect.
Probably could have. Was it like an obligatory reach for the wallet? Just wait. You did it really slowly, just waiting for him to say something.
They were still calling collect when I'd call. So, but now when he came to the University of Arizona, I had given him such a difficult time about the fact that his wallet happened to be in the car, and he said when he came to Arizona, he said, okay, I want you to pick the place. We're going to go out to a nice dinner, and I'm going to pay the check.
Nice. He got there in the end. He got there in the end. 2002, you were put into the Basketball Hall of Fame. How does that feel? I mean, back then, now, how does it feel to be in the absolute top echelon of basketball fraternity?
Well, that's certainly a defining moment, I think, for you when that happens. I guess, you know, I'd been nominated the year before, and was disappointed when I didn't get in because we had been, by that time, with, I guess, 6 Final Fours, and we'd lost to Mike Krzyzewski and Luke in the finals, and my first wife, Bobby, had died of ovarian cancer, so the team goal for that year was to
get up and win
it for Bobby. And so I was a little disappointed when I didn't make it that year, but then the next year I went in with Magic Johnson. You probably heard of him.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Once or twice.
Larry Brown and the great guard from Europe, Petrovic. He had died unfortunately in a car in an auto accident, but his mother was there, and then the Harlem Globetrotters organization.
The whole thing.
Was brought in, so it was a unbelievable group to go into.
Did they get up on stage and toss the award around between each other around the back, spin on their finger?
Well, the interesting thing is that I didn't go to the induction because my son was being married in Italy. So we went there, but then the following year they
presented it.
Well, they actually presented the award to me when they came to Tucson when I got back from overseas and presented the award there. But then I went to the next Hall of Fame thing. I had done a taped interview of my acceptance.
Yes, they presented that.
And they presented that on tape to the audience and to the national media.
We might get there one day.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. They get international.
That's exactly right. Andrew Gaze is he's one of our greats from Australia. So
absolutely.
Now.
I know you said one of the things you don't miss is the recruiting. Obviously, what is it about the recruiting? Is it the one-upsmanship of all the colleges trying to outdo each other? Is it what is it?
Well,
about it?
The biggest problem now in the United States is that the high schools, the high school coach isn't involved in recruiting as much as the summer league coach. Or the AAU coach.
Yeah, which we've heard a fair bit about recently.
And that's what makes it really difficult because those coaches have no one to answer to, so they can try to finagle different payoffs.
Don't be surprised if that gets. Wouldn't be surprised if some new regulations come into place at some time in the future. The NCAA is very, very well known for their regulations. It's pretty tight.
Well, and the book is about this thick. But the interesting thing is that most of the things in that book are as a result of closing loopholes. From coaches that
try to bend the rules.
Try to bend the rules, so they don't pay any attention to the rules anyway. So it's the rest of us that are having to do the things that are in the book.
Luke wouldn't bend the rules.
No, never.
Straight down the line.
No, honestly, you can talk to any of my former players and they'll tell you that.
Straight down the line.
That's right, because Sean Elliott, I remember when he went to some all-star camps and things, and he came back and he said, Coach, he said, all the guys were asking me, well, what did you get to go to Arizona? I said, I didn't get anything. And they said, you're kidding. But that's just the way we recruited, and that was the first thing we told the young man and his parents was that we will go by the books. So if you're looking for something else,
Not gonna happen.
then just eliminate us.
It says a bit about the integrity of the program and the coach at the top, doesn't it? Have to ask you, Lute, the NBA. Now you've seen and worked with players through their career leading up to the NBA. No doubt you've seen a lot of NBA basketball over the years. What's the one thing you like about the NBA today, and what's the one thing you don't like about the NBA today? Because you'd certainly have formed some opinions over the years.
Yeah, well, the 24-second clock, and I know that's used
We have it,
here,
yeah. It
is, yep.
even with the high school
Yeah.
guys. And I think the 24-second clock is fine for the NBA, although you see them force a lot of shots in the final seconds also.
Yep.
But it would be a disaster for us in college or in the high schools to have a clock that's 24 seconds or even 30 seconds. Some of the college coaches have been pushing for getting a 30-second clock. And I don't think you want to ruin the game by forcing people to take bad shots. You know, I think that's part of the game in basketball, is making sure that when you're on offense, you're going to end up with
It's a game of chess, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But
what about anything in the NBA today that you don't particularly like? Is there anything you don't like?
well, I think that the money is so big now that if it comes down to a thing where there's a problem with the big star and the coach, there's no question about it.
We've seen that happen a few times.
The coach goes. So
The scapegoat.
I was really disappointed this year when George Karl of Denver of the Nuggets was
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year.
That's right.
It's amazing.
And he got sacked after.
That's my team.
Yeah, because they didn't go far enough in the playoffs.
Yep. And had battled some real
issues.
health issues as well.
That's
So,
it. Yep.
It was
Made the playoffs every year.
that was very disappointing. But I think there are a lot of examples through the years of where a highly paid player
we see it a fair bit.
got the coach. Don Nelson, who I think probably he may be the winningest coach or have the most wins of any coach in the NBA. And when he was coaching, they had, I think it was the Warriors in the San Francisco, Oakland area. Their draft choice was the Weber kid from Michigan. And so it got down to, there was a problem, and Coach Nelson had been known as a player's coach, but all of a sudden he's trying to tell this highly paid
Highly
athlete what to do.
Very high.
And what ends up happening? Don Nelson is looking for a job.
We've got our own Coach Nelson over in these parts, who's a player's coach. Happens to be my last name too. All players during their career, especially early in their career, look up to another player. They try to emulate another player, role models. I think the same can be said for coaches, especially career coaches. Who did you look up to?
There were three coaches that really had a large effect on me. Coach Wooden at UCLA, because of his organizational skills.
Amazing.
Everything was to the minute. And that's the way our practice sessions were. So I stole that from him. The greatest defensive coach I think that I've ever seen was Pete Newell. Bobby Knight is a great defensive coach, but but Pete Newell was his mentor in terms of what he did there.
Yeah.
And then the third coach that I really looked up to was Dean Smith at North Carolina, because he played multiple defenses, and we always played a running style of play, and we changed our defenses between zones and mans, depending on whether the basket was made or missed, and so those three, I'd say, were my.
It's good to talk about those things. I like that. Always a good story.
Strip it right back. When you're going and looking for a player, and you're obviously on the recruiting route, what is the first thing that you look for in a player? What is the most important thing, do you think, in a player?
Well, I think it's his character and how much he loves the game and the kind of effort that he's going to put into it, regardless of whether he's a guard or a big man. And probably the biggest, well, we mentioned Steve Kerr, but Channing Frye, who's now with the Phoenix Suns, when he graduated from high school in Phoenix, he was ranked the 178th best senior in the country. And he spent 4 years at the University of Arizona. And when the draft came his senior year, he was the first senior taken in the draft. So he went from 178
It's not bad, is it?
to the top pick.
That's right.
But that's because of his character and his work ethic. He had to totally restructure his body because he was very slender when he was in high school, and then he ended up playing for us at I don't know what he was, 235, 245. But he worked very hard on the weights, but any time he had an opportunity to be in working on his shot.
Hopefully we get to see him back on court next season as well.
Yeah, I hope so. He has an enlarged heart issue, and the doctors are hoping that with the medication and all, that the heart will take care of his problem.
Every person that pours years, certainly hours every week into coaching, must have something somewhere outside of coaching just to retain some sanity.
Sanity is a good word.
What did you enjoy doing during your coaching career? Was it a game of golf here and there? Was it?
Well, I never golfed during the season, during the school year, but in the summer, Nike has I was one of the original coaches that was on the Nike advisory staff, and so they send the basketball coaches on a trip. It's
nice.
I mean, we'll have one business meeting, so it's called business.
Sure, like it.
But I'd play. We'd be there 4 or 5 days, and I'd play golf 4 times. And then we have a summer home that we go to, a family home on Coronado Island, which is in the San Diego harbor. And a number of University of Arizona graduates in that area, so they'd invite me to play. But I think while I was coaching, the maximum number of rounds of golf that I'd get probably was 11 or 12 a year. But now I still work for the University of Arizona Foundation as an ambassador, so I play golf now twice a week in a seniors group, and then every other week I play.
It's good sport, golf.
One day.
Good sport. You against yourself.
Yeah. Well,
especially the voice in this ear and the voice in this ear.
Well, the great thing is it's outdoors. And in Tucson, our coldest month is we have a 65 degree temperature.
It's not bad, is it?
No, not bad.
It's comfy.
But the thing in the desert is there's a 30 degree drop
at night.
It'd be cold.
So it gets cold. And
well, this is our coldest time in Melbourne, so you've come at at the wrong time.
Absolutely. Well, the right time, because when we left Tucson, it was
Pretty warm.
104
Pretty warm.
degrees. So,
Yeah.
so it was nice to come here and cool off a little bit.
Yeah.
Any last questions for Luke? It's been good.
It has been good.
It's
It's
been
been good. Relax. Look, I'm probably the last one to finish with. Do you obviously you probably still keep tabs on Arizona and the way they're going, and you ever see what the coach is doing and go,
No.
not sure. I don't know. Yeah.
Might pick up the phone. Remember me?
No, Sean Miller is the coach now, and he's the right man for the job. I think he does a great job of recruiting and of coaching, and he invites me to attend any of the practice sessions that I want. But what I try to do, I watched them practice, I think 5 times this last year, but I like to go and see what the new players are like.
Yep.
But then my wife and I attend all of the home games that Arizona plays, and then when they go to the Pac-12 tournament, we go there. And
Is it nice to still have the fans come up to you when you attend those games and shake your hand and say hello?
well, the biggest problem with coaches now is that on those iPhones or smartphones, there's a camera, and that becomes
Lots of photos.
That becomes a little bit of a problem.
Yes, that's right.
And my wife said that she doesn't mind it very much until people start
all the
pushing
time.
her,
That's right.
giving her an elbow to
Excuse me.
and then, would you take this picture?
Yeah. People need to remember that you're still there to watch the game, aren't you? You need to see some of
Are
it.
you one of those crazy college fans?
No, I no.
Get up and chant and clap.
Well, I'll get up and clap when we have really good fans in Tucson. They understand the game, and that was one of the things that I said when I got there was that, well, first of all, they had been 1-17 in the Pac-10 the year before I got there, so it was really bad. And the students used to say they'd come to McHale to study because it was quieter there than it was in the library.
Sure. Right.
So it changed a little bit, but no, but we attend all the home games and we really enjoy, and I enjoy the games. And when I had come there, when I first came there, I said, we don't want spectators, we want participators.
Yeah.
So when you come to the game, we
You're
want
get
you
involved.
to get involved.
Yeah.
And they're great. Anytime the team needs a little boost while they're up and chanting.
It's a sixth man, isn't it? The
It
crowd
is,
is a sixth
especially
man
at the college
all the
level.
time.
Yeah, unbelievable.
All the time.
It's fun. College basketball is much more interesting
Yeah,
to
I
watch
agree.
because you've got all the enthusiasm from the students and the fans, and the players play every possession like it's the last one that they
Yes,
play.
that's true.
With the NBA, I enjoy watching the playoffs because then they really
They're playing for something.
really play. And otherwise, during the year, the only NBA games I watch are when they're former players that are playing.
Obviously, a big thanks to you for being with us and Aussie Basketball Travellers for bringing you out here, and you're doing some work with some kids. Just to wrap it all up, Lute, some advice for the kids here in Australia. We're starting to see more Australians make it on the international stage, which is terrific. What about some advice from you to them?
Well, the first thing I would say is just play the game with the passion, that you love doing what you're doing, and whether you're a scorer or whether you're just a really good rebounder or whatever you can do for the good of your team, do that. But I've really been impressed with the Australian players that I've seen come to the States. They're always very hard-nosed, we call it.
Yes, we do too.
And they play with a great deal of passion. You never have to worry about how much effort they're putting into it. And they come to the United States really well. The the fundamentals are really executed well. There's great coaching that goes on in Australia, and the University of Arizona is trying to recruit a couple of players now from Australia.
There's a couple of good youngsters running around.
Certainly there are.
There is a couple of them.
I've seen a couple of them that I think would look very nice in a Wildcat.
I think the great thing about Australia is, and the thing that people involved in sport overseas, really rate Australia and respect Australia for, is for a population of 23 million, pound for pound from a sporting point of view, we're pretty good.
Yes, you are. When you take a look at, I love watching Australian rules football.
Good.
And we had the Richmond team came and visited Arizona 2 years ago for about a week and visited Tucson and
there's some athletes there.
We saw them play last weekend. Unfortunately, they had a bad game.
Yeah, they did have a bad game. You're right.
And North Melbourne had a great game, but
do you find it amazing that those finely tuned athletes enjoy going out and hitting each other?
Without
you guys, they have it too in the NFL.
Without pads. So
Exactly.
And the NFL players, other than the wide receivers, would have a difficult time playing here because the amount of running and effort and getting hit.
I think the one great.
That's why I don't play it. I'm not built for it.
I think the one great question for any American visitor, though, that goes to an AFL game of football, we've got those strange little people down behind the goals that wave the flags. Do you understand any of that?
That's really strange.
I understand that, and I enjoyed it. I guess a couple of years ago they changed it when that guy had a
hat on, the white coat,
and the white coat,
and looked like a scientist.
and that was.
I had a visitor come out to Australia once and thought they were waving in some sort of aircraft about to run. They couldn't work it out.
But when you're at a game, it's really important that they'll give you that.
Yeah, you need the two. You need the two.
And then it's
throw the flags around.
It's my wife. It was her first trip to Australia, so the main thing she wanted to do was to hold a koala bear.
Koala bear.
Yeah. Now you can't hold a koala bear unless I guess up in the Gold Coast.
Yeah, up the Gold Coast there's a couple of places.
Otherwise, you have to go and climb a tree or find one.
But we went to the Koala Park, I think it's called here in Melbourne, and
got to see
the trainer had one of the koala bears up.
We're well known for our animals, aren't we?
Yeah, got a few.
It takes a couple of trips before people realise that we don't ride kangaroos to work and all that sort of stuff. So,
and my wife was at the beach. We stopped in Cairns because Colin Donovan has been a longtime friend of ours, and she was enjoying it. When we were out playing golf, she went down to the beach, but then when she saw the sign,
the crocodiles.
Beware of crocodiles.
I knew where that was going.
And she said she was like this all the time. And finally she went to Colin's home to the swimming pool. She felt that was much better.
Much safer. Yeah, you'd be all right.
There's a lot of swimming pools up there for a reason. The sun is one of them, and the other one is no crocodiles. It's been terrific to catch up with you. Thanks for joining us on Big V TV. We really enjoy catching up with people that have given so much to the sport that we love, and just being able to sit here with you today and go over the years that you've been involved in basketball. It's obviously been a great ride.
Yes, it has.
And an enjoyable one, and certainly from Australia's viewpoint, we're thankful to have people like yourself, Lute, come out here and share some knowledge.
Well, I've enjoyed it, and I always enjoy coming to Australia. The only thing I learned the first time I was here: don't ever invite an Aussie
To a bar?
to come and visit, because I said, on the first one, well, if you're ever in the States,
yeah, drop in.
come by.
Yeah, drop in.
I mean,
You got a lot of
hate
people.
to tell you. So I've told other American coaches when they come, be careful about
Don't invite us. Don't
because
invite
you'll
us.
come.
A select few.
We turn up. Yeah, we have a habit of turning up, don't we?
Yes.
Luke, thanks for joining us on
Okay,
Big V
you're
TV. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's been nice to visit with you.
Good on you. Thank you. See you next time on Big V TV.